Yet for Makwaba Daily Update TV, a best sending number channel, so I'm over here and the member subscribe on bell like Yashama Wana, Pense maybe 80 so any be 80 Messam say Obajam Red Nyandaje, near Boromun Tentum, near Kuti in Samani de Utrego. Here for a comment say as some Kesi and a ton another than Kwakufodo because Osha Nano budget or Moko presente or parliament ya a comment say majority no or more working free parliament na. Mobekaya enche bia na both minority and majority ede insembi betutu dwa echemu se nkabaya finance minister Nana Danko Akufo-Addo empamono because omu hu ne se obo ne ho modern but Nana Danko ye no ho se Nana Danko Akufo-Addo ye no se onfa bibi boga enye swan na eno na budget na oko present no omu chese omu mpeni na utim se omu mpeni dia na utim se ya kwaye se in this fourth republic no na say Nana Danko Akufo-Addo government ne ya set a record on that what first in history both and say first in history party on one members are disapprove the budget there na utim se a record and say enimgu asekase pa na papa no come say odebre NPP party no na yankase pi mesom se beborom ne akuti insem no emuyeba de ka ho bia no yenso yen beba abedomo.
When there is a challenge on voice vote, either you go by division or you go by head count. The speaker, Honorable Amakofibwa, requested under Order 1332, requested for
the head count.
Head count to make the processes so
simple, tidy.
The speaker said your name will be mentioned, and then you stand. And they will count you. Yeah. What is so difficult about this?
Because if they're going to go by division, it means that
they have to go out.
Was going to be
very long. And the last experience in 2022 budget read, you saw that the speaker, when they wanted to do the e-levy passage, the speaker ordered the house to be cleared, and including the finance minister. And this same group of people raised issues about the conduct of the speaker with respect to asking the finance minister to step aside. This time round, the speaker was very magnanimous to say that everybody should stay. When they mention your name, then you stand. That is how roll calls are done everywhere. But to my surprise, okay, well, I wasn't surprised. You know why they couldn't stand for the head count? They didn't do that because 4 of their MPs are outside the jurisdiction of this country. And if they had stayed, the budget would have been disapproved. And if it has been disapproved, they will go down in the history after the Liman government, having been the first government under this fourth republic to have their budget rejected.
But then clearly, from all indications, what you're saying suggests that they've already rejected their own budget.
Clearly, and I'll demonstrate it when we go deeper into the budget. So I've already told you the concept, and you know, thankfully now there's a very good metric for us. I remember in 2017, 2018, 2019, when we used to criticize this government, they will tell us that we were in government for 8 years, and they have just been in for 3 years. Well, post 2020, they said we did 8 years. We can't compare 2016 to 2019 because it will not be fair comparison. Thankfully, we are at the end of their mandate. So right now, there's a scorecard we can place on the two governments because they have now presented. In fact, we will even go with their own estimates to suggest that this government has never met any target they set for themselves. But let's even grant them that we'll go by their set estimates in their economic policy and budget. So the verdict is clear now. I will demonstrate to you today that NPP government just came to waste our time. They only came to waste our tax resources. They only came to worsen the plight of Ghanaians, and there was no need for a change in 2016.
Talk about targets and their inability to meet it. I remember there was a target to make Accra the cleanest city within the first 18 months. That didn't happen. There was also a target of making Ghana look like the Singapores. It didn't happen. Now we are making it look like a Jerusalem.
A religious city.
There was a target of building sky trains and all of those.
For Kaya.
And hostel facilities.
And
that there was a target of making every village, every community toilets free.
And water.
They're going to have toilet and water.
Yes.
Within the first 18 months. All of these things
didn't happen.
So clearly it tells you that if I'm sure the budget, we've all looked at it.
Yeah.
If you look at the budget, you have already made mention that you don't see any hope.
Yeah.
From where you sit, I mean, there are lots of taxes that have been introduced and new developments. You think these are necessary, or
Okay.
others are saying that, look, these are necessary evils. Others are saying that, look, we don't need them.
So I see that there's always a cyclical trend, especially anytime the NPP takes over the reins of this country. When NDC builds a resilient economy, NPP come and destroy it, and we have to struggle all this. The genesis of this problem has been clear. You are introducing new taxes to the existing taxes to solve a self-inflicted problem. So, at the time you were doing your reckless sloganeering, reckless borrowing, you told us that all was well. Now that you are in the ditch, you said we should burden share. So for me, it has always been clear that the problem of this country is more talk, less action. NPP is so good with craft. In 2016, you saw they were very crafty in slogans. They say one did this, one that, one this, that. All was geared towards getting the trust and mandate from Ghanaians. And then they will show us who they are. Now it's clear. That's what I'm saying. So let me just do a summary of the budget for you to appreciate where I'm coming from. Okay. Now, if you look at the budget is presented in two folds. First of all, they will account for their performances of 2023 and then give us the future perspective or focus. Now, let me just go to, if you look at their outlook, macro outlook at the highlights that he presented at the Parliament of Ghana. Look, there is a medium-term macro economic targets. If you look at their overall GDP rate, they expect GDP in 2024 to grow at 2.8%. And this year, they are saying that it will grow at 2.3%. You cannot tell me, after 8 years of governance, you are leaving a GDP of 2.8% when you took over at 3.4%. So did we go or did you come? You said President Mahama...
There was COVID.
You see, that COVID excuse...
There was Russia-Ukraine war.
So
all of these things led to the decline in the economic growth.
You see, if you have a 17 billion problem, and you get inflows of 31 billion, you cannot say that thing has an effect. Okay. So as for that excuse, they only talk it to people they classify to be not learned, not some of us. Because I could have demonstrated to you in their own budget the performance of the primary balance. When your external sector is collapsing, it means that you can't get more money to receive imports, and then you can't even have ability to export due to challenges with the value chain, isn't it? But they are recording positive balance of payments. So that excuse is lame. Now, I'm saying that in 2016, what was the issue? They said President Mahama was incompetent. They said President Mahama was corrupt. They said the government was incompetent. They said the whole government was corrupt. Is that not? Yeah. And they said when they come, you alluded to some of the promises that they made. When they come, they will make the lives of Ghanaians better. I already told you that the relevance of governance is maximization of welfare of the people. Now, the time you were criticizing President Mahama of all these happenings, despite our internal and structural challenges at that time, we were growing at 3.4%. In fact, on an average, President Mahama and President Newz combined was growing at an average of over 7%. You came and you took us from 3.4% to 2.8%. We cannot celebrate you. Look, in the inflation rate, what rate did they take it in 2016? It was a single digit. Single digit. In fact, at the end of 2016, it was even around 16%. In 2023, inflation is around 35.2%. Inflation, I said maximization of welfare. These are things that reduce your welfare. It's a welfare reduction indicator because it wipes away your real income. So Ghana now, inflation itself, the average increase in price of goods and services in the market is around 35.2%. Not only that, some of the goods in the basket, they are not regularly consuming goods by Ghanaians. The one that you and I consume regularly is food. Food inflation. In fact, if you take rice, carrot, dog meat, and most of the goods, inflation is above 70%. So, are we maximizing the welfare of citizens with this type of performance? Now, they themselves, I told you that I don't believe in these external shocks too much.
Yeah.
It had an impact, but there was already a structural deficiencies, and it only came to heighten.
Because if the foundation is weak, definitely a
It's
little pressure.
just like this. When COVID came, they told some of us that those of us with higher immune system, the COVID will not kill you.
Yeah.
If you have a weak
but
immune
those
system,
underlying health conditions.
So it's the same way.
So it meant that the economy was having underlying health conditions.
And that's how we are even more affected than Ukraine, where the bombs are dropping every day. They are better than us. In fact, we are not even close to Ukraine. Countries are more closer to Ukraine, yet they are not suffering. But you are far away, then the war will jump all of them.
I remember a statement that was made by the president, says that how can Ebola and the...
Jump everybody and come and hit Ghana. You heard it.
How does that work?
Good. Now...
But COVID has been able to jump Togo, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, everywhere, and then has landed in Ghana.
The only problem is that they don't have shame. I know these people. Now look at their gross international reserves. President Mahama time, what it simply meant is that if we were to accumulate all dollars of this country and want to import, we could cover 3 months of import cover in 2016. Now we can't even do 1 month. 0.8 months of import cover. So Ghana is not even having adequate foreign reserves, despite the claim of gold for money policy. The idea of the gold for money was to use our natural resource, gold for oil. The idea of using the gold for oil, bringing the gold for oil policy, was to shore up our international reserves. Yet we are doing 0.8%, 0.8 month of import cover, not even up to a month.
Even with the gold for oil, the Bank of Ghana has said that gradually it will put in place measures to face it off.
At all. Yeah. Now look at this one. Look at something. The exchange rate. Let's ask ourselves these basic questions. There's a scorecard of ATS NPP, ATS NDC. President Mahama left an exchange rate of Ghana cedi to dollar at what? 3.8 cedis, or even let's say 4. According to the NPP.
Let's say it's 4. Though it's not up to 4, but let's round it up to 4.
Let's say it's 4.
4 cedis.
With 4 cedi, President Mahama was described as what?